afternoon, family and friends, and all my new subscribers. Thank you for joining More Holistic, my channel. I appreciate your time and energy. I appreciate you joining up with me, and I'm here to give you some more information, more holistic. This channel is concerned with environmentalism, with the mind. The holistic view means everything is connected: mind, body, soul, spirit, all one. We're connected to the earth, to the animals. Everything is alive. Nothing is dead. Nothing is to be looked down upon. Everything has a right to exist. And we're here to build harmony with the earth. This is all about love. Love of yourself, love of others, love of the planet, all living organisms. Plants, animals, trees, have clean air and everything. And well, today what I'm going to talk to you about is Mentacide. Mentacide is written by Dr. Bobby Wright. He was a psychiatrist of the 60s. Mentacide, The Ultimate Threat to the Black Race by Dr. Bobby Wright. And basically his concept is that right now, globally, all over the world, there is a worldwide ideology of anti-blackness. No matter where you go, people are anti-black. They always have these misconceptions about black people as being less than, poor, not as intelligent, everything, not. And it's everywhere you go. No matter what continent you go to, it's there. But it has nothing to do, with the turmoil that's going on in the world. It's just a factor which affects us, quote unquote, black people. When I say black, I know some people don't like the term black, but I'm using it because it's easier. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, some prefer melanated, highly pigmented, original, aboriginal, indigenous, what I'm going to say black or African, meaning the first inhabitants of the planet, the oldest people in the world, which everybody else came from the Eve gene, Eve. If you don't understand that, the mitochondrial DNA came from the first original black woman. Everybody came from the black woman, even the black man, okay? Now, to say all that, to get to the point what I'm trying to make, right now the world is in great turmoil. Everything is in great turmoil, wars, people, different kind of violence here and there. And this is caused by a specific group that wants to dominate. I call them the dominators. These, you know who I'm talking about. But I'm going to quote Dr. Bobby Wright, the psychiatrist. He says, the white subjugation of the black race and the control of their land is an essential ingredient in contributing to their insatiable, morbid, predatory appetite of world domination. Okay, do you want me to read that to you again? I'm going to read it to you one more time. The white subjugation of the black race and the control of their land, which would be Africa or anywhere we congregate, but essential is Africa because this has all the resources and wealth and gold and diamonds and ivory and all diverse biodiversity of everything there is and where life on the planet started, okay? Race and to control their black land is essential, is an essential ingredient in contributing to their insatiable, morbid, predatory appetite of world domination. Okay? Right. We got that. So he also is another quote from him saying, he who controls the mind controls the behind. And I have another one. I think it was the last poet who said it, or was it the Funkadelics? One of them way back in the day. You know I'm old now. Free your mind and your ass will follow. Same thing. So basically, Mentacide is Yeah, yeah. So yeah, menticide basically is when your mind, the dominating society, has erased your whole mind. Your mind is just trashed out. Trashed out. As a black person, your mind is trashed out. Now, you don't have any concept of who you are. You have false identity. You don't know anything about your history. Of course, what you learn on school, which when the state educates you, is for you to contribute to the maintenance of the state. So your mind is basically brain trash. Now, us blacks or melanated people in the United States are enslaved. We're not oppressed or exploited. We are still enslaved. Many don't believe this, but we are. The reason I say this is because all of our life-sustaining institutions are not controlled by us. They're controlled by other people, like our food, clothing, education is all by the colonizer. They control it, therefore they can put whatever they want in your mind, your desires and everything else. So, but also other whites are oppressed and exploited by other whites, but they still have the influence to change the institutions. They can have some type of say in that. So what menticide, like suicide, menticide deludes blacks into believing they have a common cause with the dominators. So they try to form all type of alliances with them, kumbaya alliances, to coalitions with them. But historically, we know they have failed. They haven't worked because as soon as they get done, finished marching with you, they go back to their life. Some will call it privilege, but I would say pathological life of having all the wealth for out of no type of work at all, just from the theft of black people worldwide, in America's, in the diaspora, and from Africa. Basically, parasites living off the work of black people. Of course, they call us lazy and parasite, but we didn't go to somebody's country and kidnap the people to make them do the work. So you explain that to me. So now, working with others historically has proven not to be good. So it's basically when you're having allies and coalitions with other groups. You could say the dominators and their junior partners. It's like black people don't want to solve their own problems. They're dependent on other people to solve their problems. Of course, you can have coalitions and work with other people. I'm not saying that. But a lot of times we're discouraged having our own groups, and we don't like to be in them because we have a feeling that it's not going to work out. We're going to be arguing and fighting, which is not the case. All this conflict has been implanted in our minds. So what we need to do is form a black social theory. And basically what that is a GPS for black people, for those of African ancestry, in the diaspora, even in the mother continent and all over the world, is that we have to have a roadmap, a guideline to life, a relationship with all living matter, our relationship to the world, a method of education that is centered from our perspective, not from anyone else's perspective, not from the dominator's perspective, but from our perspective, so that it's just to us. And also we have to have a way to deal with our enemies and those of us who betray us, the traitors that are amongst us, that work as assets and benefits for the dominators against us. Okay, that would probably be, your people in high places and low places. Just everyday folks do the same thing. But so basically, black social theory equals the recreation of black culture. It's the way we do things, the way we cook our food, music, our form of dance, how we dress, how we think, how we communicate our point of view, our perspective, our worldview. We have to deal with the world like that. And what we get from that would be a sense of belonging. Like, I'm with you, you're with me, we're one. And we're all together. We got to look out for each other and forget about, competition and not liking each other or trying to outdo each other, have one up on each other. That's not very constructive. That's very destructive for us in the situation that we're in. So when we have this sense of collective belonging, the same culture, same past, then no one can come in and divide and rule us. Because as we know how this happened, the colonizer came and picked off us one by one, each ethnic group in the continent, one by one, they did it, okay, and still do it. They'll tell you things like, you're not like the rest, you're different, you're smarter, you're not like all the rest of them. And it goes to your ego, and you thinking, oh, they like me, I'm not like the rest of you, I like them. So it causes a lot of problems for us, and it's part of the Mentacide. And the part of the Mentacide, you can see it on a daily level, is how we treat each other and disrespect each other. A lot of times, from the name calling, murdering each other, just outright disrespect for one another. We don't trust each other. We don't you may read something and then you say, oh, that's not true. You have to have an outsider come in and say, yeah, that's true. And then we'll listen to it. We don't see ourselves as valuable or credible. And somebody like a white person has to put an okay on it. So those who are classified as such. So also Mentacide means that it affects us in this way, being very anti-intellectual, like saying, oh, I don't need to read any books. What do I need to read books for? And then it's not that you read a book, like you go out to the store and get any old book. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, you can read a variety of books, variety of authors. Don't get me wrong. You can learn something from everybody. But we have to read like people that in the past that had done a lot of different research about our situation in the New World, in the United States, in the Americas, and being colonized in Africa, colonized here, colonized everywhere we go, and have the solutions. They have figured it out. Amos Wilson, Chancellor Williams, W.E.D. Du Bois, just a lot of Fannie Lou Hamer. You can read different people have already experienced what you've already gone through. All you have to do is go back in the books and refer to what they've already laid out for us. But a lot of people don't want to take the time to read it to see what they suggested and what things that we should be doing to overcome our present situation. So, and also a lot of us are anti-theoretical. We don't like to use theories and situation and consider different options. That's what you have to sit around and work things through and theorize. It's kind of like a guesstimation of how things might be going, what you need to probably do, what would be beneficial to you. And ahistorical. A lot of people don't want to hear about history, about our history. And our history didn't start with slavery, okay? It did not. That's why every book you pick up, it's always like, our history starts with slavery. No, slavery is probably, since we've been here, like 300,000 years, 200,000 years. We have a vast history, and we need to know that. Not to say you're going to stay stuck there, but you need to know that so you can learn from it, study mistakes and failures, and move forward and understand how we got here, what actually happened to put us here in this situation, being oppressed, still enslaved mentally, physically, and not independent and self-sustaining people. Okay, and a lot of times we have to employ critical thinking, analysis, and you have to question everything. You can't just accept what you see on TV, on the news. Oh, I saw it on the news, but that's all been screened and filtered, and so that you get a certain point of view, and your mind is shaped in a certain way. Okay, but you can still watch the news, but you can analyze the news, And, but in spite of all that, we do have some amazing intellectuals in our group that have laid out the plans, who have dissected it, analyzed everything. You don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. All you have to do is go back and read the books that they've already, and to learn from their mistakes, like Frantz Fanon, Cheikh Anta Diop, Angela Davis, Bell Hooks, so many authors, Toni Morrison, just authors and authors. You get fiction and nonfiction, because even though fiction is not true, it's based on truth, and it still gives you an idea or a way to think things through and realize your experiences and what people are experiencing. So, and then also, a lot of people believe, like Marxist socialism, believe that once capitalism is dismantled or abolished, then racism will go away. That is not true, because racism is older than capitalism, because in Europe itself, they discriminated against their own people, like the Roma people, the Slavic people, the Jews. They already had that in their culture. That was like a training ground for what we have now. When they went out into the New World, they brought all that with them. So here we are. So like basically we're doomed if we think that white socialism is going to save us. Now Marx does have, different points. He just documented, which was what already happened. He just sit down and documented it, what Africans were already practicing, which is basically dialectics, corporation sharing, and communalism, all part of the culture, which has been erased from us, but something we have to go back and reclaim. So all in all, in summary, Mentacide, I would, not to sound vulgar or raunchy, Mentacide for people of African descent, Africans, the diaspora, you know what I'm talking about, the blacks, is basically a mind F. They just F your mind up. That you see your own people as the enemy or something negative, and somebody you don't want to work with, and then you see those who oppress you as your friend and somebody you should seek out. It involves a lot. It has layers, but that's just some of it, and some of it at this time, in this moment. Now, you may say, how does this have to do with the environment? What it has to do with the environment, as far as I would say black environmentalists or Afro environmental, there is a connection between the Mentacide and the global land colonization and what's currently happening in the world, like struggles over land and climate holocaust and injustice and housing, environmental racism and ecocide. This all stems from dominations, from the dominators going around the world, invading, committing genocide and the theft of the land. And then they come and settle there, the settler colonialists, and instill their religions and their rules and their way of seeing things. And so this right now we have the systems of domination, capitalism, patriarchy, and ecocide. They create the conditions of crime, and the prison complex, the illnesses, all these different toxic illnesses, and the extinction of animals. It's all caused by the dominators who are going places, committing genocide and imperialism, expanding. And so they do this in order for the 1% can live a life of luxury and ease, but and they can thrive, but it's at the expense of the majority. They have to have that paradigm happens. That has to exist in order for the 1% to enjoy all the wealth of the world. They have to exploit the masses. Okay, they have to do that. So saying that, oh, we're gonna have this reform and we're gonna do this, do that, it doesn't make a difference. Because they'll say things, well, people are poor because they're lazy. No, they're poor because capitalism needs to have the bulk of the people in a lower position so that ones at the top can feed off the masses at the bottom, extract their labor, extract their wealth. Same for the world. They have to extract everything from the developing countries in order that the West can be at the top and enjoy a life of ease. So it is necessary to exploit the vast majority of people. That's how the system works. There's no way around that. And as we know, the military is the greatest polluter, and a lot of our tax money is going to the military. That's why our schools and roads and bridges are not like they should be. And the structure, like capitalism, further promotes individualism and severs the connection of people or us with our community, with the environment, with the ants, with the insects, with the ocean, the fish. It severs that because it's saying that you are superior to the fish. You're superior to the ocean. You have to have domain over it. You know, they teach you that, so you're cut off from the environment, cut off importance of the environment. So basically pollution of the air, the water, and the soil and the climate is all caused by environmental racism, domination, and this whole idea of one group should have all the resources and all the luxury and all, basically, the wealth of the world is in the hands of a few, while the rest, the masses, suffer. Which leads me to my next subject, which I'll talk about later: anti-Black environmental racism. This is when the dumping of toxic waste is put into Black neighborhoods in the United States, and also in, the various parts of the developing world and in Africa. They dump a lot of the Western waste goes to Africa, and here in the United States, they dump waste in the Black neighborhoods all over. And what this is, it hides the violence against Black people. It's a sneaky way of, instead of going and shooting you, like in the street, and unalive you, they just dump. It's another way of doing it in a sneaky way, is dump all their pollutants in our neighborhoods. And that's a form of anti-Blackness, violence, and terror. And it's the same thing, but it's done in a different angle. So I can talk about that later. That's just to know what we're going to talk about next. It's going to be the anti-Black environmental racism. That's what the next video is going to be about. So I hope you learned something about that. So basically, a good solution right now would be to form bonds within your community, practice, co-ops, building co-ops, and working together and pooling monies together to help protect each other. Yeah, protect each other. Yeah, to uplift the Black community through communalism, sharing, and political education. Yeah, that would help us right now. Okay, well, I hope you like what I was talking about. So this channel is here to help you to realize that we are suffering from Mentacide. That's why a lot of us, I think, don't have the will to change our situation, because our mind has just been polluted with all kind of stereotypes and negative self-images and self-hate and hating ourselves and hating people that look like us and not want to work with them, not trusting them, not trusting ourselves. And that's what has happened. But through a black social theory, we can overcome that and regenerate our ancient culture, look at it, look at the failures of it, what went wrong, take the good, and then get rid of the bad and make sure we don't make the same mistakes all over. So that's it for right now. I'll be back with you later. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. Give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe. It's been a pleasure. Also, another thing you can do besides practicing communalism and co-ops, you can become vegan. That way you'll kill less animals and protect the earth. Also, you can, what else can you do? Yeah, that's what I can think of. Something else I was getting ready to say. Oh, yeah, practice being a minimalist. Like a lot of times we go out and buy clothes, buy new this, new that, and it's just piling up because right now they have so many clothes when you wear them. You get out on the cheap clothes, they just piling up. They do is ship all those clothes because it's just pollution. They ship the clothes to other countries and dump all that stuff into their countries, causing waste for them. So another way would be to like shop at thrift stores so you don't have to go out and buy more stuff. Some of it's pretty nice, but we've been taught to be consumers, to consume, but must realize that all that consumption is polluting up the earth, using up minerals, and killing many species. So until the next time, take care, be healthy, think positive as much as you can. I know, and take action. All right, till next time, give me a thumbs up. Thanks a lot, folks. Thank you, new subscribers. Stay tuned for some more information.